Good morning, boys and girls. There we are. We're in. What did I say yesterday? Wouldn't be Cami Capital's stream unless I was late. And yes, had to make the coffee, set up the streaming system. While I set up the stream, I did catch a real quick scalp, but it was over before the stream even started. Shorting from overnight value area low, reinforced node plus previous week's value low for a quick reaction for 5 points. So you missed the action on that. Was hoping it would last a bit longer than 2 minutes. So we'll get another one real soon, real soon. I'm watching this for a trade setup now. So allow me to lock in for a second. This is a pretty good area where we're at right now. I like this whole area. There's a very strong move right from the low that we've made down below here, which is 624. Very strong move to the upside. So I'm not trying to short that exact same level again. Was just looking for that initial reaction for the scalp. But let's watch what this thing does here. It may potentially find some support. So let's watch for that. And I will be stalking another setup here. Let me just switch to my next account because I've already bagged that 5-pointer on this one. So I need Take Profit Pro, this one, 374. Uno Momento. Hold on, I don't want to get doxed. Let me switch to this screen so you can't see. 1 second, here we are. Switching accounts here and we'll look at another trade. Boom. Okay. Cool. And for the members inside VolPro, inside the school community, I will be breaking down that trade. It was fairly simple. 3 confluence, quick scalp, A-rank scalp, nice and easy. One of the ones we like. But here she goes. She's moving up. She's moving up. A lot of volume today. So let's go. I am watching to see where this may potentially find support on its move back up here. Some areas to look at would be this node now. This would be reinforcing. It's a massive volume node here across the low that broke through here, through the previous week's value low. Obviously don't want to short a high volume node right here where it's digging into now because that's a C rank. Nothing wrong with it, just not what I'm looking for on the funded accounts. The clusters across here are also decent in between these levels, but we got, stacked value levels right across here. OPOC, OVAL, and previous week's value area low. So let's see. Someone said, why is it A rated and not B? Joe, yes, good question, Joe. So it's because we have overnight value low, previous week's value low, clustered, plus high volume node reinforcing. So it's 1, 2, 3 confluences. Man, what is this? We are pushing. Nice. Nice. Yeah, man, when I woke up today and I saw the markets were down here at new lows, which, believe it or not, I did wake up at just after 2 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, man, I was like, damn. Another down day, but this is a nice snap-up recovery here. Exciting. So what we're looking at here then is, just looking for potential areas of support for a continuation. This is a very strong move here, so let's see how it does. Obviously, you don't want to be buying it right at the highs, but we want to look for it to pull back to one of these volume levels. This technically is an all right level across here as well. Smaller cluster of volume just pocketed in between that OPOC and OVAL. Why wouldn't you have shorted that HVNVAL that you have highlighted? I did. I already shorted that. That one's already been shorted. I don't like to short them twice, especially when it's counter trend. I like to take it. I like to take the first reaction as the most potent. especially because, yeah, there was a counter trend move going short against a strong bullish move. I knew there would be a reaction there. It's a very concentrated area, but to short it again, not so much a good idea. So now just looking to play in line with the trend here. We get a little something across this range here, 65650 to 65325. There might be a decent area for a little bounce. So I'm watching this. We've dug into this pocket of volume here now from earlier in this day, which was over here, mostly formed around the 1 p.m. time. Six, 656. Oh, you can only see half the price X's. Yes, here we are. Here we are. There you go. There we go. All right, 656, watching that area. And actually, I don't want to use that one. I want to use my 5 point. Yeah. Man, what's this? This is good. Much better than yesterday. Yesterday was such a snooze to start the New York afternoon session. It was just paint drying all afternoon. Today, we might be in for some action. So again, trading, take profit trader funded accounts, Apex funded accounts, across the board here. So I'm one trade deep, one trade green for the day, which is that initial short here, and now looking to find a second potential trade. If we can find support across the 656 area, which is overnight point of control, overnight value area low, and there's kind of cluster of volume just pocketed in between here. It's an all right area to look for potential support. Oh, look at that, 692 on the bid down here. I'm going to move down closer to that order. Yeah, looking for potential support across this area, right across here, where the OPOC is. It looks 700 contracts on the bid here. I'm going to get filled right in front of that. Right in front of that, and looking around, so that will be digging down to 654, which will be closer to the low end of these value levels. And at the bottom shelf of volume, if it can dig down there. Big group of orders there, 722 buy orders sitting right there. Let's see if they get filled. All right, coming down. And let's go. The orders, I'm going to jump in. Those orders pulled out. I'm in. And looking for 5 points. $5,550 is my entry. And stops behind the high volume node. At 50.50. And my take profit on this, targeting 60.50. And I'm going to take off the full thing, 60.50. There we are. Positions in. See if this one cracks as well. This is on my second fund to take profit trader account. See if I can go 2 for 2 today. Look at that, a bit of a sneaky player here, putting on big orders, pulling them out. That last 700 contracts did get pulled. This one here, and they're baiting a bit lower. 900 contracts on the bid there. Okay. So I want to see if we can find support right across this level. And if no on this one, my second area where I'll be looking to find support, if this one gets stopped out, will be closer to that value area low. So it'll be a matter of getting long again if it dips down a bit lower. But I'm happy to try this first dip here. Again, my targets have 5 points, not just arbitrary, but because we have a high volume node resting right across here, big pocket. So I like to take profit at high volume nodes. So this one's just a little bit into that high volume node. Just take these out so you can see them. What's up, John? Wanted to say really love your content. You were my first interaction with volume profile market auction market theory, which was the biggest shift in my trading. Yes, glad to hear, John. Glad to hear. All right, this one's coming up here. Once it reaches about 75%, I pull that stop in. So let's see if it's got the extra juice just to pump to 660.50. Stalling a little bit. Once it hits around that 1200, if it hits 665.950, I pull that stop in to break even. Just hovering the stop here. It's not actually moved. The sneaky player is flashing his big contracts up and down the ladder here. That same one flashing the 700, 900 contracts on the bid. Naughty, naughty. Fake orders. None of them got filled. He's just trying to spook. Trying to be a bit spooky with the spoofy. Bull's having a little bit of trouble running through that high volume node just above. My take profit is a little bit into the node, as you can see. So it's about 4 to 5 ticks into the node. Back at my entry now. Oops, stops at the wrong place. Still keeping the stop at 5 points. Again, until it can reach 75% of the way. If not, I will risk the little back and forth that may happen here. But we're back at that entry point. Good to see some action on this afternoon. Very nice to see. Well, we had 3 whole days this week where we had nothing in the afternoon. So it's really nice to start with a bang already. Just trying to see if we can pop through that high volume area just a little bit. Just hovering my trailing stop here, if you can see above my face cam. Haven't placed it down, but I'm ready to place it down. If it hits 5,950, stop goes to break even and either squeeze out the rest or stop at break even. Come on, you can do it, baby. Have you ever completed a top step evaluation, got a payout? Yes, many times, but I no longer work with Top Step or use Top Step since May this year. This is a B trade with 2 confirmations. This is almost an A trade. The reason it would be B is because the OPOC and OVAL are a little bit too far apart. Okay, that's almost hit. Yeah, it did tick over 5,950. Stop's going to break even. And now trying to just run this home. Pulling that stop in. Boom. It's having a little bit of trouble at the edge of this high volume node, but it got a bit deeper this time. You can do it. One tick, there she goes. One tick away. Order filled, nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That is a win on that trade. The W's in the chat. Very good. Cool, now that I'm back out of being locked in, let me just quickly break that down. Don't remember if I did or not before I entered, but basically that is following this momentum here. Obviously, first trade, which was taken right before stream, was that short trade counter trend with this strong push from the upside from down here. Basically a one-sided move, right? So there's clearly a lot of bullish volume had entered the market down there. No volume profile reason why. It's just there's just buyers stood in there, right? Low end of the profile. No more sellers present. So buyers stood in, brought that right up. And first trade was counter trend, small scalp off the high volume node that reinforces the overnight value low and being right there, right next to the previous week's value low. So a little bit of a resistance play. Very short-lived, 5 points in and out. Second trade, obviously we saw price blast through those value levels as expected. It's a bullish momentum type move here. So what was looking for was support. The upper level of support here was this one, which is where I got my entry within that block, right? And at the time, the volume profile was a bit more distinctive of this being a high volume node. High volume node resting between OPOC and OVAL. So a couple of value area levels that have been broken through to the upside with a high volume node, reinforcing the area equals potential support on a pullback. So we got that. Overnight value area low ended up being the perfect one, which is the deeper discounted area. And that was the perfect one. I entered a lot higher just because there was 700 contracts on the bid that I wanted to get filled nearby just in case it was a quick snap. Those 700 contracts did not execute. It was a spoof. However, still a good area to get long regardless. So yeah, second trade in the bag, 2 wins so far. Happy days. I am moving on to the next account. And let's see what else we can get here today. Okay, what have we got going on? Hey, Kim, I've always had to have bad luck with Top Step. I'll try MFFU or Take Profit Trader and do much better. What do you think? What part of Top Step are you having bad luck with active? Because if it's passing the eval, Top Step's eval is probably one of the easier ones to pass. But if it's coming down to payouts, I'd say Take Profit Trader is the easiest payout rules. But yeah, it depends what part of that you're struggling with, right? Is it the eval or is it the payouts? Yes, Top Step's definitely got one of the easier evals in the game. I will say that payout rules are pretty whack these days, but the eval's pretty easy. Yesterday's RTH had the VAL. What was the developing POC for today? A bit after NY Open. What's your bias or plan for the day after seeing that? If RTH value low was at the developing POC, what you're seeing in that case, Lexit, is you're seeing that fair value for the current session or the most recent trading data is lower than previous day's discount. So that means if discount is now fair value, that means we're seeing a shift to the downside in perceived value of the market by the participants. So that would be a bearish signal. If POC's down at or below value lows, that's a bearish sign. Oh, payouts. Okay, active trade. Yeah, if it's payouts, I totally get it. Take profit traders got, in my opinion, the easiest payout rules at the moment. So yeah, take profit trader would be my next recommendation, not financial advice. But Top Steps payout rules are, yeah, they're okay, but they're pretty whack for a couple reasons. That $200 bare minimum, $200 a day for 5 days before you can even get a payout is annoying, and being capped at $5,000 per withdrawal is annoying too. Considering you then have to you can only take out 50% of your profits at any time. Take profit trader, you can take out anything above your buffer, and you can take out a payout day one if you pass your buffer zone day one. So. Yeah, there you go. It's getting more bounces from the POC here. Overnight POC. Couple more. Was that another 5-point play from there? Yeah, another 5-point play from there. That's my trade closed on that setup. We'll see how this goes now. If it can move above up to point of control. In terms of setups for me, I would actually look for the next setup. I would potentially look to catch a little fade, counter trend in this kind of pocket up here. You got your previous day's value low, previous week's POC, and developing value high, all in that cluster area. So I would look for a pullback up in that area. If we can pump above point of control, will be my next sort of move. But of course, we've got to see if we can break this high volume node now. See, it's still running into that wall. Anyway, we don't need the green boxes. It was just to visualize. Did they cut ties with TopStep? Was it because they erased all the affiliate cookies? Yes. They erased all the affiliate cookies, so no point promoting them if they don't pay me. But also, in the months leading up to that, they were making some changes that I didn't personally agree with either. And the changes that you guys found out about TopStep X, all the other trading platforms being removed, apart from TopStep X, was super, super lame as well. Yeah, and after like my experience with TopStep X, or Project X, I should say, overall, it's a decent beginner's platform, but it's by no means a professional platform, and it's also the people behind it I'm not a fan of. Plus, the data is provided by Plus 500, first of all, which is a CFD firm. I've only had negative things to say about Plus 500, and I was facing some major slippage issues with Project X quite frequently, which is really annoying. So that was, yeah, there's a few changes they made before they cut the affiliate program, which I was like, this is not ideal. But yeah, that was like the nail in the coffin at the end. Basically overnight cutting ties with everybody that built their business. Not cool. But hey, man, up and on. TopStep's losing its market share. It was number one, but I think a lot of people don't view them as that anymore. So it's just the way business goes, huh? new players, new, fresher, younger, more in touch players enter the game, and they know how, number one, how to build a decent product, and number two, how to work with influencers, etc., to grow their business without kicking them to the curb. Anyway, don't get me started. Yeah, I've heard good things about my funded futures. I've not properly used them yet. I do have an account with them, but I have not used them or properly traded with them yet. I hear good things about them, especially from people that I trust in here in this chat. Some of you guys, I very much value your opinion. Some of the OG viewers here. So no doubt I'll give them a go. But I'm really liking Take Profit Trader. The daily payouts for me is insane. That's the best benefit once you're funded and once you're in the live funded stage as well. The daily payouts, it's an insane benefit. I see, Variety, for Project X API access. Okay, fair enough. Funding ticks. I haven't used funding ticks, not yet. Ken, you'd be a good sports commentator. Thank you, sir. What's OPOC and overval overnight? Yes, overnight. Joe Black, what's up, man? It's overnight point of control, overnight value low. So for the OPOC levels are taken from, you draw a profile from 6 p.m., Globex Open, 6 p.m. through to 9:30 a.m., so right up to that New York Open. And then you take those value levels, your high, POC, and value area low, and you put those across into the next day. Oh, point of control just shifted. We've now put in fair value right here. Yes, giveaway today. Absolutely. Giveaways are going today. First of all, for giveaways, you guys have been smashing the 150K likes. First of all, for giveaways, I'm going to need you to take up to 200 likes for the giveaways to go today. You guys have been smashing the 150, so we'll move the goalposts a bit on that. 200 likes, and we'll get these giveaways going today as well. But in the meantime, we're looking for more trades here. 2 wins so far today. 2 greens. Let's keep it going. Waiting for us to get away from point of control now. Price having a little trouble breaking through this node across here. Yeah, Tradeify is good, Verdi. I do have Tradeify. I don't use instant funding because of their restrictive rules, because you have your consistency rules, you have payout caps. I don't like it for those, for me and my journey where I am with trading, but I do like them as in, like, if I was in earlier in my trading journey, right? And I was decently consistent, but just needed funding. I like the opportunity instant funding companies provide in that sense, because, you skip the whole eval stage and you can go straight to learning and earning at the same time, albeit with a few restrictions, right? But Tradeify is really good. Mr. Brad, what's up, Brad? I hope it's all not too. What does a VP view on short at 10:05 look like? And yeah, check your DMs. Oh, sorry, Brad. Sorry, Brad. All I can say is your boy is micro famous. Those Instagram DMs get a little bit heavy right now. I'll make sure. Let me make sure to get you back, Brad. Let me write that down. My apologies, good sir. Brad, I should just have you move to my primary inbox. Now, short at 10:05, Brad. Let's have a look. Well, price is chopping again. I don't trade point of control. So now this is point of control. We're in and out. Got that green trade. Good. We'll wait for the next setup. But in the meantime, let's have a look at some past setups. So a 10:05 short based on volume profile. Yeah, let's go. Change that. Look back. 10:05. 10:05 short. 10.05 short. 10.05, Brad? $10.05, unless you don't mean 11.05? Let me know, sir. I'm using Futures Desk. Oh yeah, Futures Desk. I've heard of a lot of these firms. I've only used a few, but next week I'm going to put a video out ranking the prop firms I've used from a tier list from S to F. All the firms I've used. It's not going to be completely obvious. It's not just going to be take profit trader number one. But yeah, I'll rank them all because there's a few good opportunities depending on what type of trader you are, where you are in your trading journey. There's different firms are good for different things. Is it better to take fewer trades but copy trade or take lots but across multiple accounts? Sandra, that's a very personal approach, very, very personal question, but I'll tell you what I do. There's no right answer to this. I copy trade my Apex accounts altogether. I don't bother individually trading those. I copy trade a couple of my take profit trader accounts, but I have one main funded right now, a live account too. So, but then I copy trade the other two just to save time because I also don't want to be sitting at my desk trading all day. Okay. Yes, any trades? 2 trades today. One just before the stream closed too quickly to make it onto the stream itself, but the second trade was on stream. It's a nice take profit on that one. You can see it here. Any trades I've taken, you see on the chart with the P&L tool. They're all executed in Tradeovate themselves, hence they're not on the chart. Nice, Junior. Bought your course yesterday, studied it all day, decided to use your volume profile strategy in the New York AM session, and green on the day. 4 trades, 1 red, 3 green. Nice. Yes, sir. Price still finding support across this area here around the OPOC. Same area we got the entry earlier today. Or I should say I got the entry because no copy trading, right? And now that volume's kind of distributed more, so it's less of a clear support area for me, apart from just having that previous overnight point of control. But yeah, still worth noting, man. It's finding support across that. Point of control's been put in at 65975. I want to see that break above. Break above, let's move up towards previous week's point of control value high. This pocket up here, like I said earlier, this will be my next trade. If we make it up to here, I'll look for a counter trend short up there. That'll be where I look for a bit of a fade, especially if we can see maybe some nice liquidity on the DOM as well for a little naughty added confluence across here. And then, yeah, look in that zone for a potential pullback. Not a full-on reversal, but one of my classic 5-pointer recipes right there. Bang, bang. Nice, David. That's the approach. Using Top Step because it seemed like the best for beginners. So I'm learning actual futures here, then going to switch to Take Profit Trader. Good approach. Top Step and Take Profit Trader are close in terms of beginner friendliness, at least in the eval stage. But Top Step's eval will be a little bit easier because you can pass in 2 days versus TPT. You have to minimum 5 days. You could argue for that and say, well, for a beginner, maybe they should take it slower and have that 5 days minimum to pass. But speed to funding, Top Step's a little bit quicker. But then once you get to payouts itself, Take Profit Trader is a lot easier. No, Pi, they only do it per account for live Take Profit Trader. So you can still have pro accounts while having a live account, Pro Plus. Trade Day looks good too. I've also heard good things about Trade Day. There's a few good ones that have been just around for a while in the background. They haven't really marketed themselves. So yeah, Trade Day is one of those ones. Have I ever used the OPOC for opening New York sessions? I have not personally because I haven't. I'm totally asleep on the New York Open most times, but starting October 8th, we'll be doing a couple of weeks of the New York Open. So you'll be seeing that live using the overnight levels for the Open. They are the best levels to use right off the Open. In fact, you can catch some major moves off the Open using the overnight levels. 3 to 5 points do I prefer? I prefer 3 points in the Asia and London and 5 points in the New York, purely because the London session and the Asia session, all those overnight sessions have lower volatility. So a 3 point for me is kind of equivalent to a 5 point in the New York, if that makes sense. Is shifting to a live account a good option? Depends on the prop firm. The only prop firm that I like the live account more than the sim funded account is Take Profit Trader. Because number one, they cover your data fees, professional data fees, which is cool. It's not a major, but a lot of firms make you pay that. But Take Profit Trader covers the pro data fees. Second of all, the payout rules get even better. Daily payouts and then a 90% split instead of 80. And thirdly, there's no caps. After transitioning to live, do you pay higher fees for evals as a professional? Not for evals, Jay. They're still the same price. Spike Jones, sadly low, intrigued. Okay, what was the question, Spike Jones? Someone wants to know. Spike Jones. Spike Jones, repost your question. The profile highs and lows so bunched, but big moves today. Big moves today. Yeah, it's been a nice session today. Really nice. Really nice. The same support area is finding the same support over and over again, by the way. Someone asked earlier, why don't I take the same trade, same setup again? Because the condition, the profile has changed, so it's not something I'd personally take. See, when we took the initial trade, when I took that initial trade there, it had the added confluence of being a more defined high volume node. So look at this. Boom. We had a more defined dip in volume and then shelf in volume in between these two levels. But now if we pull that profile across, because that's developed, it's now just become part of this larger shelf of volume. So less defined support area for me, unless it pulls down to 65450. That would be a more defined area for support. Otherwise, the area I previously got my support long on has now been just washed into the rest of the volume. So I wouldn't take that again. But yeah, there's a potential pullback entry there is down there, closer to the overnight value low. And where this shelf of volume is, that's a nice potential area. But I'm also not taking that because I want to see now how we behave with point of control. Because if we fail point of control, there's a good chance we could just melt back down and continue this bearish move. Now this is a much more significant area in price. Dragon, Malik, what's up, man? For the weekly levels, extend right to the 459, right to 5 o'clock. What's technically 459. So yeah, the weekly level is the one profile you draw from the Sunday 6 p.m. all the way through to the very last tick, the very last candle of that week. So which is Friday, 459, 5 o'clock. It doesn't show 5 o'clock, but 459. NQES trader, what's my win rate? My win rate hovers around that 71, 72%. What size TPT am I trading? 150K. Yes, correct, Jojo. That is It is a B. It's pretty close. The thing with today's profile, JoJo reference, is that these levels here are all really bunched together. So one could argue that this high volume node, that overnight value low, that previous week value low, one could argue those are clustered together, or one could argue that, like with my initial trade, that these levels were clustered together. I view that more as a zone than exact levels. That's why I got my entry within those two goalposts, if you will. But yeah, you could argue for a rank around here as well. You can argue for that. Do I ever trade after 6 p.m.? Yes. Majority of the time, yes. Yeah, 70% 1-to-1. My actual risk to reward ratio is 1 to 1.1. My average risk to reward. All right. Not trading this, but let's see if this finds support here. That's that next level of support I was telling you about. High volume node, overnight value low. Again, not trading this because we've just come off point of control. So I want to see how the market reacts to that new fair value price, being as we couldn't push it out. See if the sellers regain confidence here. Spike Jones, at 1:21 p.m. we had 3 confluences, OVAL, PWVAL, and current session VAL. Still went through without any reaction. You would not have taken this trade if not. Why? Good question, Spike Jones. Let's have a look. 1:21 p.m. Let's have a look. 1:21. Okay, so you said we had OVAL, PWVAL, and current session VAL. Cool, yep. It still went through without any reaction. Okay. So the first thing I would say here, let's remove this. It did bounce from that level, by the way. Look at that. Look at that magic. Bounced off that level. Let's see if it has any steam, though. Again, point of control is right there. So risky trade if you took that, but great support level. Great support level. Okay, now let's answer this question. So at 1:21 p.m., we had 3 confluences, overnight value low, previous week's value low, and current session value low. It still went through. What would I say to that? Yes, I would say, that is a good setup, right? Still, even though it went through, still a decent setup. We had a bit of volume there from earlier. So you're right. Good potential support level there. It had bounced from this level a couple of times earlier, and third time around, you now have the current session value low. That's a good setup. They're not always going to win, of course. Would I have taken this? You know what? Potentially I would have, because there's a big jump in volume from here. That nice bullish move, same kind of thing we got the second time around, right? So I would have taken that. I could say yes, I would have taken that. The only thing that would have maybe given us a hint as to say, okay, maybe you shouldn't look for longs in that instance, is look where the previous day's point of control is, right? Fair value for yesterday was way up here. The previous week's fair value is here. Fair value for the current session is here. So that fair value is constantly shifting down. Yesterday, regard to last week, and yesterday we are having fair value below these levels. It also failed off the weekly fair value level. See, we failed to get above that. So signaling again, potential bearish conditions. So those higher time frame confluences, if you are one to look at that, could be a hint to say, okay, we are probably going to melt through this. But in saying that, I still would have liked a small reaction off that level. So I probably would have taken that for a small scalp and would have been stopped out as well. So that's a valid setup. Again, they're not all going to win, right? So valid setup, higher time frame context could give us a hint as to why that might not work. But again, decent setup, A ranked for sure. Still would have at least taken a scalp, and that would have been a stop out on that particular trade. Absolutely. Valid setup, though. Very valid setup. But yeah, sometimes if you're wanting to filter out more losses, looking at those higher time frame things and looking at where that fair value is shifting over time can be a good hint. Anyway, I'm watching to see that same thing now. So see how that fair value shifted down. It was up here at this cluster here, which was below everything else, but now fair value has shifted lower again. We failed to get above it, so now we want to watch and see for potential failures here and see if it continues to pull back to the downside. Let's see. No worries, Waz. No worries. No worries, Spike Jones. Yeah, like I said, you are going to get A-ranked trades where all the confluences are there. And they are going to sometimes lose, you know. This same guy, I swear this is the same player, the same trader. Flashing this 200, 700, 200, 700 all the way down. He's baiting. He is baiting. He's the master baiter. Peter, what's up, man? Do I have a Discord we could join? I'm a solo trader who uses price action volume profile. Nice. I don't have a Discord, Peter. I do have a school group. It's open to members who have taken the course before. So if you have taken it before, that is an optional add-on for members who have taken the course. But yeah, I don't have a Discord. I did have a Discord previously, but found them far too noisy. People distract each other. When there's a question asked, if there's good value in the question, that question gets lost. So I prefer the school group kind of forum layout rather than a live Discord chat. Landshark, what's up, man? Good to see you. Okay, remember 200 likes, we get some giveaways going. You're at 178. Just pump it a little bit more. 200 likes will give away. You know what? Today we won't give away a. Oh no, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. I'm feeling generous. We'll give away one course and one eval. 2 winners today. Mohammed, I've never heard of fingerprint charts. Yes, Louis, you would do it. You were fantastic. Louis, by the way, I got to get back to your email today. I'll get back to you, my friend. Yes, Louis, you were great value in there. Thank you very much. We want to have a long trade. We have many liquidities to target. The thing is, Anwar, on the dominant book map here, there's not that much liquidity to the upside versus the downside. So what we want to see here is, because price failed off this new point of control, we want to see if those sellers gain confidence and can continue this downwards push. That's what I'm looking for here. Joe, email me. If you were in the course before, please email me. I sent out an email inviting all the previous course purchases with an invite to school, the new community. It is a paid optional add-on, but it's very cheap. It's not an expensive thing. It's $49 a month for previous course members as an optional add-on. And the email was sent out to all previous purchases, but it went in a lot of people's junk folder because it's a promotional email, you know. So it got sent to junk or spam for a lot of people. Just check there. Otherwise, email me. If you didn't get the invite and you've taken the course, email me. Email, say you've taken the course. I'll cross-reference that. Screenshot would be ideal of your purchase, and then I can send you the invite. How do I get that chart on my right? This is Tradeovate's DOM, depth of market. Different platform. Tradeovate here and TradingView on the left. Yes, Landshark, do it. Am I streaming anywhere other than YouTube? Just YouTube. Is the day's bias more on the sell side according to value areas? Yes, Armored. That's what I was saying earlier about the point of control. So a good way to read the bias using volume profile is to see where fair value is shifting relative to previous value. Fair value is your point of control. So yesterday's point of control and fair value was way up at 692. We traded below that, then came to the weekly fair value of last week's fair value, traded below, tried to get back above, failed. See, this whole area here is a failure to get back above the weekly fair value, right? So buyers did come back in to try buy at fair value of last week, failed, could not get above it. That support becomes resistance. We break to the downside, and now we're putting in our daily fair value right here. So at the moment, yes, this is heavily tilted to the downside, heavily tilted to the bearish bias here. And now what I'm watching for is to see, do we again fail off fair value, off this new fair value we put in for today's session, which is in line with yesterday's overnight, not yesterday, but today's overnight fair value. We're in line with both those things. So heavily bearish. Now is to watch the reaction from the market. Do sellers now find the extra confidence to continue pushing this lower, seeing as buyers aren't able to buy fair value yet? If sellers fail to show up here, then this could be the bull's chance to pull us back above, right? So this is like check number one for right now. Another signal for sellers to be like, okay, bulls are still not buying up. Let's try and keep pushing this down. So we've got to push away from point of control, break away from these value levels, back below the value low would be the next move here. Reading the volume profile is like seeing the matrix. 75% sure I understand it. Yeah, man. Volume profile gives you clarity in the matrix. Where am I from? New Zealand. What's the advantage of level 2 data? Level 2 data just helps you see all the orders in the book, all the liquidity. It's not a must, just a nice to have. I always tell people in the school group as well that it's just a nice to have. It's not necessary. But if you want to do this professionally, you probably should have it, because it is good to reference and see the passive liquidity and see how it's behaving. No worries, Dragon Malik. Yeah, it's monthly. You can cancel anytime, but $49 a month because it's continued to be added to. Like I'm adding another breakdown today, added that new module yesterday. So unfortunately, your boy can't work for free. But yeah, man, try to keep it as reasonably priced as possible. The indicator, what's the indicator called? I marked those out manually, Mr. Cannon, the previous week's value levels. It's just using the volume profile, then I mark them out with the horizontal ray. All right, little bullish reaction there from that previous week's value low. Decent reaction. Again, just waiting to see. We've got to see if these buyers can actually push through point of control. There's been many setups galore, C-rank setups galore across this range of value levels. So volume profile lines up where the price was on the chart you're looking at. Yes, correct, penny pusher. Correct. Jess trades OF. Order flow. I always immediately think OnlyFans. What's your definition of overnight levels? Overnight levels are your volume profile, which is drawn from 6 p.m. through to 9:30 a.m. So Globex open through to that 9:30 a.m. open. That is a profile that I pull across there. And then I draw the value low, value high, and point of control for that 6 to 9:30 range. I know a lot of people like to cut it up and do London profile levels versus Asia, but I've found the overnight being that whole Globex session, just grouping it all into one and drawing the levels across to be more useful, less noisy, more useful. Did I ever read any books on volume profile, or was your education from online sources? I read a book on, it was mostly on market profile, or TPO, I should say. That was by James Dalton. That has a lot of the same kind of concepts as what volume profile is. It's a different tool, but same kind of concepts. But most of it was self-taught. I also took a lot of order flow mentorships and courses, which helped because order flow is adjacent to volume profile, um, which helped piece things together. And then a lot of it was just my own experimentation as well. Trader 808, learning more and more about volume and order flow. I feel stupid for holding on to ICT stuff for as long as I did. Hey, man, it's all part of the process. Don't feel stupid. People feel like it's wasted time going through all those years with ICT. You know what? I will say I traded ICT for a long time as well before I made the switch. I will say ICT introduced me to futures trading. Before that, I was only Forex, and I probably wouldn't have looked outside of that sphere. ICT introduced me to futures. It introduced me to a few technical concepts which I probably would have learned otherwise. And then it also put me on the path to being to questioning what I learned and then trying to find the truth, like hearing ICT's rambles and rants and conspiracy is like, hold on, this does not sound right anymore. These concepts are based off absolute kablooey, right? And that questioning process then led me to order flow and volume and these things which had a real backing, right? So it's all part of the journey, part of the process. And it makes it much sweeter once you discover this stuff and start to find a lot more consistency and profitability. Makes it much sweeter. You've been through those times with ICT and struggling, banging your head against the wall and waiting ages for trades and whatnot. And when you finally come into this stuff, it's like it's the sweetest thing ever. Still difficult, but an amazing feeling, an amazing change of pace. Yes, Pastor P, absolutely. Absolutely. There's been a couple of good setups in this. Again, because we are so close to point of control, I'm not looking to long that again, even though there's been a few good long plays from there. I'm looking to see how we behave according to this point of control. And then from there, I'll make my next trading decision. If we fail off point of control and move to the downside, I want to see us break value low of the current session and then pull back into that area, into that high volume node and that previous week's value low. So I want to see, where's my drawing tool? I want to see us break down like this, then pull up into this green zone here for a potential reversal or continuation of the downside movement. That's what I'm looking for primarily. If we do happen to break above, which I don't feel like we will, but if we do, if we break above point of control, then I'm looking for a counter trend move to fade the extreme of the profile up in this zone up here. Previous week point of control, previous day value low, and current session value high, all in that area, looking to take a quick counter trend fade off that. But yeah, watching to see this point of control, want to see us break down and catch that retest of this broken node here if we pull below value lows. So that's what I'm waiting for. We're two trades deep, 2 trades green. Good day so far, really good. Yes, Av trades, Av Stewart. That's a good point, right? And that's one of my main gripes too with ICT was like, man, bloody 80% of days were no trade days, low probability days, and just a lot of fear, a lot of sitting on your hands, which I don't actually believe is a good thing. I think there's so much opportunity in the market every day, and if your system writes you out of a lot of opportunities, you're missing a lot of really decent chances to make money by sitting out so long. It would be different if the win rate was super high with ICT, or if, you could consistently catch massive risk to reward trades. But from my experience, you can't really capture anything much better than any other system in terms of risk to reward. And the win rate is really low. Like when I was trading ICT, my win rate was sub 50%. I was still profitable and pulling payouts every so often, but under 50% win rate. It was doing something to my mentality, my psychology. Didn't like losing that often. So it's nice to go to something like volume profile where it's almost always above 70%. And, there's an opportunity every 15, 20 minutes, you know what I mean? Which is nice, except for yesterday. Yesterday, there was zero opportunity. Giveaway time. If we reach 200, we've reached 200 likes. Good job. Yes, so we're going to give away one free course and one free eval for either Take Profit Trader or Apex. You choose. Totally your choice. Everyone's chose Take Profit Trader so far. I'd love to see someone try Apex soon, but hey, man, it is what it is. I get it. I get it. About getting this giveaway ready right now. You guys who have participated in the giveaways know how this goes. I'm sure you're already getting ready to click and comment, but I'm going to post it in the chat in just a second. Okay. Okay, giveaway time. I'm going to give away one course, one free course access, and one free eval, either TPT or Apex, right? What you're going to need here, posting it in the chat right now, click that link. If you can't click the link, go to my community tab on my YouTube page. Keep the stream open. Open it in a new tab, right? Click on that link. And the post you see, I want you to like the post and then comment if you want to win a course or an eval, right? So eval, if you want to win an eval, comment TPT or Apex for which one you want. If you want to win a course, just type course. Okay, like the post and comment on that post, not in the live chat, on that post. Okay, and then in 5 minutes, I'm gonna choose one winner for the course, one winner for an eval. So go ahead and click that. Time is starting. I'm going to start that timer right now. Start. You're on the clock, boys and girls. 5 minutes. And then I'll choose two winners. Five minutes, and then we'll have a look. Anyway, let's get back to the charts for now. Let's go. So kind of breaking down here, kind of what we want to see. So yeah, if we can really break this, get back below previous week's value low and below this high volume node here at the current session value low, that's where I'm looking for that pullback into for a retest to go short. That's what I want to see. That's what I want. How's everyone sitting today? Let's put a little poll in the chat here while we're waiting. How are you all sitting? Let's go. How are you on the day? Green or red? I don't want to hear break evens. I want to see greens and reds. Vote in the chat there. Where to buy DOM data? Vino, you buy it directly through Trade-of-8. You can, in the settings, go to Trade-of-8 settings and subscriptions. You'll see the data there available to buy. The CME data. It's like $5 a month, I believe. I cannot remember how much it costs, but it's cheap. Previous week and day levels are basically your HTF levels like an ICT. Yes, correct. Previous week, previous day, and overnight, those are the higher time frame. Again, when it comes to volume profile trading, time frame as in chart times, 1 minute, 50 minutes, those things don't matter. It's just, those previous days and previous weeks value levels or previous overnight session are the, what you would classify as your higher level confluences. Green, nice. Big greens today. Have you ever tried trading with Fib? Yes, years ago. If you don't remember how to enter, there's the post. There's the link. Anyone who missed it for the giveaway, click the link I just posted in the chat. Like the post that links to, and then comment either TPT, Apex, or Course, depending on what you want to win. And I'll select 2 winners today. 1 course winner and 1... Oh, actually, if I do happen to get 2 course winners, if I choose, it's going to be random. Either 2 courses or 2 evals, whatever anyone gets chosen for. Price struggling to get down below previous week's value low for now. The sellers aren't showing up as quickly as I would like here. Still just hovering around fair value for the day. Billy Barlow set my Siri to a male Australian voice. Oh, yes. Can I rank profiles by relativeness, which is the most important? The thing with the profiles, Lucas, is that the weekly and daily and overnight are all equally important, but what really ties them together and makes them actually meaningful is how the current session profile develops relative to the previous profile. So it's not that they mean nothing without the developing profile, but they mean a lot less unless combined with a developing profile. So there's not one that's more important than the other. The previous days, previous weeks, overnight, all these levels are the same. The only thing that makes them actually matter more is how this developing profile here develops relative to those levels. So you can't have one without the other. You can, but you shouldn't, is what I'm saying. Holy shit, the market is closing in 15 minutes. That day went so fast. Good green day today. I got 78% of you green on the day. Nice. Time is almost up for the giveaway. It's almost time. 8 seconds. I might as well do it now. Okay, let's go have a look. Ending this poll. 78% of you green, 22% red. Beautiful. Okay. Let's go. I'm going to select 2 winners now. So whatever you chose, course or eval, I'm going to select 2 winners just randomly. Let's go. And what I need you to do is if you win the giveaway, I need you to DM me on Instagram. I'll just get that Instagram link ready. Okay, let's go. Winner number 1, Billions I5C. I've just hearted your comment on the post. Billions I5C. Winner number 2. Let's scroll. Kopf Jaeger, 308. Winner number 2. Let's go. Are you in the chat? Are you in the chat? Kopf Jaeger. And where'd the other one go? Kopf Jaeger. I just hearted your comment. Kopf Jaeger and Billions I5C. Anyways, if you're here, Kopf Jaeger and Billions I5C, I've just put the Instagram link in the chat. Please click that link, DM me. Once I accept, yes, aviation name, you're Kopf Jaeger, that's the one. Congrats, my friend. Kopf Jaeger and Billions. DM me on Instagram. No worries. DM me on Instagram and I will accept your request after the stream. And then I'm just going to need a screenshot from your YouTube homepage just to prove that it is you who won. And then I will link you guys up. So Billions, you won the course giveaway. Kopf Jaeger, you won the eval giveaway. Congrats, boys and girls. More giveaways next week. Today's the last stream for the week. but more giveaways next week. Congrats. You know what, guys? We're actually right on the end of the market. I didn't realize how far the time's gone, right? It's already 7:48 my time, which is 3:48. Market's going to close in 12 minutes. The RTH is going to close. So unlikely we get another setup here. It may drop down, but again, not enough time today. So there's 2 green trades in the books. Really good session today. Happy with that. Like the stream if you got value out of this. If you enjoyed the trading today, we actually got some action, which was nice. A couple of wins. And if you want to learn how to trade this way, I have a very, very reasonably priced volume profile trading course in the description. CamiCapital.com is the website. Click that. You'll find the link to the course at the top of that CamiCapital.com webpage. Click that. Very affordable one-off payment. Very cheap, very reasonable. Cheap in price, not cheap in value. And then after you complete the course, you also have optional access to add on a monthly membership in the school group, which is, again, paid but reasonably priced, $49 a month. So that's available if you are interested in volume profile trading. And if you want to get funded using Take Profit Trader, which is who I was using on stream today, my funded Take Profit Trader accounts, you can use code CAMCAP, CAMCAP, for 40% off and no activation fee. If you want to use Apex, it is currently 80% off. Flash sale, as always. 80% off, code CAMCAP, CAMCAP, for the best Apex discount as well. I'm going to see you guys on Monday. I don't trade Fridays, just a personal decision. So I'll catch you guys either in the school group today or on Monday. Catch you then. Goodbye, everybody.